What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. It's Saturday, and today we're going to be working on the rig. Got an oil change that's due. We got fuel filters that need to be done, which I've already changed the oil filter last night, and I also changed both of these filters. I've changed that filter last week, and I just changed that filter last night. I got to change the last fuel filter. I had the oil draining overnight, so I also need to close my valve here. But oil drained overnight, so it's all empty and out, and I got to go get the oil up out of the pickup truck because, like I told you guys once before, and I always say it, I only use AMSOIL for my truck for the most part, unless for some reason I can't get it in time. But we only use what I think is the best oil, which is AMSOIL. So we got the max protection this time around. I change my oil depending on the time of the year. So since it's getting a little colder out and we're getting into the winter season, I change it to the max duty, max protection oil blend over the regular diesel oil blend, which the price difference is quite ridiculous, but there's a reason why this version of the oil, which like I said is the max duty protection, is a lot more expensive than this version of oil, which is the heavy duty protection AMSOIL 1540, which is what I normally run in the summertime. And then, like I said, I'll run the max duty, which has a little bit more additives in it, a little bit more protection. I guess this one's supposed to be 6 times the protection over the normal diesel oil, and that one's 4 times the protection. But, you know, oil is one of those things where you either buy the cheap stuff and hope it lasts. Well, I need to keep this right here. You either get the cheap stuff and change it more frequently, or you just spend the money on the expensive stuff. This is already loose. And you can run it a little bit longer, and you know that it's going to actually protect your engine for the most part. So my key thing is you either spend the money on the more expensive oil, or you spend money on a rebuild a lot sooner than what you need a rebuild. But like I said, oil is one of those controversial things between some guys. Some guys like cheaper oil, some guys like more expensive oil. It's all about what you want to run in your equipment. But like I said, I'd rather spend the money on the oil and hopefully get some extra mileage out of the motor before it needs a rebuild, rather than cheap out on the oil and hope that it doesn't end up screwing up something later on down the line. But truck's dirty. It's supposed to rain all week next week, so I'm not washing it, and diesel's too expensive to be throwing out diesel, so we recycle it right back into the tank from the filters. And refilter it again. But while we're working today, I'm gonna kind of get into my, I guess you call it life story, but not really a life story, because you know, a life story is beginning to end, and I feel like I'm still walking around and still alive, so I'm not dead yet. So we're gonna get into my story, my childhood, so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. And kind of how I got here, and the things I do to be able to maintain a new truck, more or less money-wise, not really maintenance-wise, because, you know, maintenance is maintenance, and with me having a newer truck, there's less maintained things, you know, to really have, since it's newer, but, you know, you still gotta, you know, maintain it, but not as much as you would as an older truck. There's certain things that, you know, I still have a couple hundred miles before I start having issues with certain things, but, you know, truck maintenance is it is what it is. But like I said, we're gonna get into kind of my childhood growing up. I'm not gonna like go all the way into loop this ring here. I'm not gonna go all the way into, like, you know, in depth in a lot of things. There's certain things that I'm gonna leave out and certain things I'm gonna talk a little more about, but we're kind of gonna just go as I think of things and as I figure out what I feel is important versus what's not really important. And we're also gonna do Jesus Christ, can't get this filter on to save my life. There we go, I think. Yeah. We're also gonna do underglow on the truck and on the trailer finally. So I got all my stuff for that, so I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through doing underglow, which I got some watermelon lights for the trailer. I'm gonna keep the trailer pretty simple. I'm only using 2 watermelon lights, and I'll kind of show you guys how I'm gonna do that because of the pattern those gives off. And then on the truck, I'm gonna be doing rock lights on the truck for underglow. Some cheap old rock lights from the old Amazon special, but that's pretty much what they're gonna look like. They're red rock lights, only red. I don't like multicolor rock lights because you end up having to run a module up underneath the truck, and that module tends to get wet, and when it gets wet it causes issues, which is why the rock light kit that I did have on this truck, which is right there, the rock light kit that I did have on this truck, is the wires are cut out of it and it's no longer working because of the module ended up getting wet, and it screwed the lights up, which I think one of my videos when I still had these lights working, you've seen it flashing colors. Even though I would set it a certain color, it would just flash through all the colors. So, which that's a Shift Products rock light kit. Actually, the second set that I've had, because the first set ended up having an issue. It killed my batteries on the truck. I sent Shift a message. They sent me the version 2 of the kit for free. So shout out to Shift for that. But they sent me the version 2 for free, and the version 2 didn't last too much longer than the version 1. So I don't recommend the Shift Products rock light kit for your truck, but, you know, shout out to Shift for trying to, you know, make it right and, you know, doing what's right instead of leaving me dead in the water. But yeah, I'm gonna set this camera up somewhere because I was gonna wear it on my head, but I'm wearing a beanie and my camera doesn't want to sit right. So I'm gonna kind of set you guys up somewhere while I'm putting the oil in the truck, and we'll get started on my quote-unquote life story. All right, y'all, I found a hat in the truck, so hopefully y'all can see a little bit better of what I'm doing with my hands instead of being on my shirt. But we got our filter mounted. Now we just got to put oil in the truck. Then we'll go hook into the trailer and bring it in here and start on the underglow on the trailer first, because that's going to be a faster job than doing it on the truck. And I still got to make some mounts for a couple things to make it work the way I want it to work. But let's start off with my childhood. I didn't grow up rich, but I didn't grow up poor either. I guess you can say I grew up middle class in a little small town. And my dad, as most of you guys know, was a truck driver. Still is a truck driver to this day. And growing up, I was always fascinated with trucks. Always. I mean, it's all I wanted to do, you know, was be around the truck, which realistically, more than just the truck, you know, I wanted to get my hands dirty. You know, it was one of those things, if I was helping my dad work on the truck or at one of the shops that he had, working with him, if he got his hands dirty, I got my hands dirty. Whether I was actually doing something on the truck or finding something just to make my hands dirty. But that's all I wanted to do as a kid was, you know, be around him, work around him, because, you know, I didn't get a chance to really spend a lot of time with him being a truck driver and being gone, you know, sometimes weeks at a time, depending on what he was doing and so on and so forth. But that's all I wanted to do as a kid. I always told him I wanted to be a truck driver, and he always told me that he would never let me be a truck driver, which most kids know that have truck driver dads or somebody in their family that's a truck driver, especially, like I said, especially your dad. They always tell you that they want you to do something better with your life. They don't want you to be a truck driver. They want you to experience something else, you know, do something else. So before we get into all that, how I kind of got the workaround to doing that, we got to skip a little bit of time into my high school years. So when I turned 16 and got my first job was working at the grain elevator that my dad was pulling for as the owner operator. And I used to load trucks, dump trucks. Where did I put the cap? I do this to myself every time. There it is. I used to load trucks. I used to dump the trucks. I used to mix feed. I helped run the outside of the elevator. So, you know, I'd jump around from dumping the trucks, loading the trucks, helping mix feed, helping with the dryers, changing conveyor belts and the way the corn's going in the bins, and climb on top of the bins, help with maintenance work. I pretty much did any and everything it does with the outside of a grain elevator. So that was my first job and only other job that I had besides trucking and the military, which we'll get into my military life here soon. But that's what I had done as my first job, and really my only high school job that I ever had was either that or helping my dad work and or clean his truck or whatever, and, you know, got paid for doing chores around the house, mowing the lawn, all that good stuff. But, you know, my dad always taught me that, you know, nothing in his life is free. So anything that I ever wanted, whether it's, you know, a new video game or some new shoes or whatever, I had to work for it. So whether that's, you know, helping him clean the truck or work on the truck or mowing the lawn, you know, the regular chores inside the house, you know, vacuuming, sweeping, mopping, dishes, all that good stuff. So everything that I've ever really gotten in life, I've always had to work for it. It was never handed to me just because I wanted it. I was always raised that way, that anything you want, you got to work for it, which is where I got my mentality to this day of, you know, working as hard as I do. But back into high school, so my junior year, I was working at the grain elevator, and I was trying to think of ways of things that I wanted to do besides truck driving, and I knew I didn't want to work at a grain elevator all my life. And now this is where the story's kind of going to jump, because I had to kind of tell that to kind of tell how I got to my military life before the whole trucking thing. And when I was in junior high school, I had got a chance to go and watch one of my older brothers, graduate from basic training in the Air Force. And ever since I had seen him do that, it had always been an interest of mine, being in the military in some form of a way. And it's now really kind of a family tradition, because I got cousins that are in. I said I got a brother that's in. I got grandparents that served. So it's kind of a family tradition. But, you know, it always stuck in the back of my head when I seen him graduate, you know, the military lifestyle of seeing it all and everything else. So since it was an interest of mine, and being in high school, you know, the recruiters would come in and, you know, talk to us about, you know, military life and try to get people to sign paperwork and whatever else. So since I was so interested in it, I had met my recruiter, the best woman in the world that I could ever have as a recruiter. She got me interested in the military, and the only reason why she got me interested, because she said I could sign paperwork when I was 17 and go ahead and get my time in while I'm still in school, and do my weekends while I'm still in school. And that summer, between my junior and senior year, I could go to basic training, come back, finish my senior year of school, and then go off to AIT and do all the rest of my training for my job, which ended up being a 91 Bravo, which is a wheeled vehicle mechanic. So as I got more and more interested in the military and ended up, you know, getting my parents to sign off on the paperwork for me to legally be able to sign, because you can't legally sign by yourself until you're 18. So I got my paperwork all signed when I was 17 in 2015, and that's when my time started. I believe it was March 4th of 2015 is when I signed my paperwork to enlist into the United States Army, and or a division of the United States Army, which is the Illinois National Guard. So when my whole
Hey, shoot anything you see, I don't care. I couldn't even tell you where mine ends.
Hey, you see your
Pole. It's
you
a
see
pole with no
4?
signs in the 4. Oh. So I'm to the right of the pole, you're to the left. Okay, don't tell me, I'm trying to help.
No.
Which one you want?
Everyone to shoot mine.
Deal.
Okay.
I'll just start shooting that direction.
Hey, I like that idea.
plan of attack, which, you know, I talked to my recruiter about this, and what was gonna happen was I was going to enlist in the National Guard, get all my training in early so I could have time under my belt quicker, you know, at the age of 17. And then after I finished AIT and everything else, I'd do maybe 2 or 3 years in the National Guard, and then I was going to switch over, put an active packet in, and go full active duty United States Army and switch over. Where that kind of got screwed up is I was still interested in trucks, of course. You know, it's my first love, driving trucks. I always was still interested in that. So while I was still doing my National Guard duties, when I turned 18 and got my CDL, my in-state CDL, where I couldn't leave state, but, you know, I still had a CDL until I couldn't leave state until I was 21. I was driving trucks. So I was driving under my dad as a company driver, driving the Volvo that I ended up owning, which I'll throw up a picture if I remember to put them in. But I'll throw up pictures as like important things that I have pictures of or whatever come up if I remember to do that. But I was driving the Volvo, hauling grain for the grain elevator that I used to work for. And doing that and split doing my National Guard time after I graduated high school, of course, because I was still going to high school doing my weekends after I had got back from basic training my senior year. So after I graduated, I was still in the National Guard, of course, and I was driving trucks under my dad, the grain elevator, still helping him work on the trucks and getting more in-depth into it. And that's kind of where my mind changed of going full active duty, because, you know, I had big plans when I first was gonna join the Army. I mean, I wanted to be Ranger, airborne, air assault, jump out of planes. I wanted to do all that stuff. That was the big plan for me, you know. And we had a plan of action for me to be able to, you know, actually do all that stuff. So that was my biggest plan, was to do all that crazy stuff and, you know, be, you know, a little more than I ever thought I could ever be. But that was the plan. But like I said, that got screwed up when I started driving trucks and got more and more in depth in that. And I fell back in love with trucks all over again. You know, I kind of lost the love for it when I went into the Army because my mind had changed, but I fell in love with it again. So I never ended up going full active. I ended up driving trucks and doing my weekend once a month. Once every 2 weeks, once every 2 weeks, and you know, doing my AT every now and again, where I would, you know, leave for 2-3 weeks and do AT, and or like when I did my deployment training, leaving for a month or 2 or however long that was to do certain trainings. And then I went off to Texas, to Fort Hood, to get my wrecker license and drive the big 8-wheel, big 8-wheel wreckers with the cranes on the back of them and tow trucks. And I was a heavy wrecker recovery operator and all sorts of other things. But my love for trucks came back again, and I was like, you know, screw going active. You know, I kind of can have both of the things I wanted at the same time. I can drive trucks and I can have my military. So I had them both. You know, I had both things that I wanted to do at the same exact time. Then about a year after driving under my dad, I decided I wanted to buy the truck from him. So we worked up a deal, and I ended up buying the truck from him. And I had became an owner operator under him, still running his authority. And Jesus Christ. And that's where my first truck came, the old Volvo. Love that truck. Did that for some years, long time, because as you guys know, when I first got this truck, I was still running his authority. And I just had my JLR3 Transport as my doing business as. portion for tax reasons and everything else. But I was doing both, and it got to a point where I was kind of getting stressed out about it, you know, leaving for X amount of time for possible deployments and all sorts of other things, and still dealing with trucking, where I kind of set myself down and was like, what do I really want to put all my focus in? Because I can't really put all my focus in the one thing, because then I'm going to start slacking the other things. So for me to be able to be as successful as I want to be, I'm either going to have to choose the military full time and shoot for the goals that I originally had, or I can get out after my contract's over and go head first in the trucking. So of course, as you guys see, I went head first in the trucking. I finished out my contract of 6 years and my 2 years on Army Reserve, which is a total of 8 years. And I went head first in the trucking with the Volvo. So at that point in time also, I had got really involved in the stock market, which is where I do a little bit of money managing over that way, and made some money here and there, and done other little things, because trucking is not really my only source of income. I got other things that generate money that I may or may not see, i.e. the stock market. And I go through Edward Jones, and I have a few accounts with them, and I invest a lot. I got like 4 or 5 different investment accounts, and quite a bit of money stuck up in investments for retirement and stuff like that. So I got really involved into that when, you know, I got my first truck. My mom really pushed me towards that, actually, and opened my first investment account when I left for before I left for basic training. I had got my first investment account. So I got really involved in that. And you know, as time went by and figuring things out, driving trucks, the worst thing that really could ever happen happened, which is my parents' divorce, which is still currently going on, which is what pushed me into getting my own authority and kind of branching off and doing all that stuff. But I'm not really going to get too much into that. But that's really the big reason of why I went and got my own authority when I did. And that was a whole ordeal, because I owned part of the company and I didn't want to go to court and all the other good stuff. So I ended up, you know, splitting the shares that I had in the company and giving it, you know, half to my mom, half to my dad, and just kind of stepped away from it all. So that's when the own authority and everything kind of kicked in, and doing my own thing. And all right, y'all, my battery died, so on the small camera. So, but yeah. So after giving back all my shares and everything else, and I started my venture into getting into my own authority, and now we are where we are today, running seed pretty much full time, and, you know, trying to keep my head on straight and keep everything operating. But this truck, since I kind of hopped over that, the truck came into play when the Volvo motor went. It was missing a few parts, of course, at that point in time. So when we got it rebuilt, I had to put all that stuff back in, and all the lines for the DEF system and all that stuff had to be replaced, and all that good junk. And it ended up becoming like a $50,000 rebuild, because, you know, like I said, the DEF system had to be completely overhauled and everything else. So it ended up being a $50,000 rebuild, and I couldn't afford it at the time. So my parents ended up paying for it. So what I told them was, well, when I go and get another truck, I would just give them the Volvo, and therefore that would be kind of the payment, the $50,000 payment back, you know, for them paying for the rebuild. So basically they made out perfect, because, you know, I had already paid them for the truck, or damn near paid all the money for the truck, and then on top of that they get the truck back. So if they were to sell it, they would make out ahead. And, you know, that was just my way of, you know, paying the money back that I would have owed for the rebuild. Now, you know, a Volvo's not worth $50,000, especially being a 2014 Volvo that I had? I can't remember the year, but, you know, it's not worth 50 grand, but it was the least I could do. Give them the truck back, therefore they could put it to work, make more money with it, sell it, i.e. do whatever they want to do with it. So that's where this truck came in during COVID time. And I was looking at trucks, and the used truck market, as you guys know, anybody that looked at the time, was ridiculous. Prices for used trucks were sky high, prices for new trucks were sky high. And I kind of sat down and looked at it like, you know, the used trucks that I was looking at trying to get were, you know, damn near $200,000 at the time, you know, $150,000 to $200,000, when I could just go, you know, spec me out a new truck, kind of see where the price comes out to be, and figure out what I want to do. So that's when this truck got spec'd out, and it ended up being not too far off from, you know, $200,000. And I was like, well, I'd rather go get that than I know, you know, all the maintenance history on it and everything else, because I'll do everything myself, as I do to this day. And you know, I don't have to worry about buying a truck that may have some issues, you know, try to trust a guy that I don't know about, you know, the maintenance history. And, you know, I could buy a truck and then it needs a rebuild, you know, 2 weeks later down the line. You know, I knew everything that I needed to know getting a new truck. So that's what I did. I ordered this truck, and that's when I posted my first video on YouTube, is when I got this truck to the shop for the first time. And not too long after that, I posted my how I afforded a brand new truck at 24 years old. Yeah, no, 23. I was 23 turning 24 when I got this truck, I believe. I don't know. That's besides the point. But I posted that video, and of course the first thing I got in the comments of that whole video, which is no longer up on my page, was, you know, he's gonna fail before he turns 26. You know, he's not gonna last a year. You know, he's gonna fail. He's gonna lose his whole business. He's never gonna survive. And what I did was I took that to heart, because, you know, I'm not the type of person that somebody's gonna tell me I'm gonna fail and just, you know, step away. You know, I'm one of those guys where if I got my head first into something, I'm gonna do what it takes to survive. And I'm not afraid to lose everything that I have trying to put my all into something that I'm really passionate about. So I took that to heart, and then next thing you know, not long after that video, I got my own authority, and the same thing, same in the comments. You know, he's gonna fail, he's not gonna survive, you know, market's down, he has a brand new truck, you know, he's not gonna be able to afford it, and it's not the right time to go get your authority, you need to wait, you know, all those good comments. And once again, I don't really care. I don't listen to people, because I already knew I had a plan of attack. Then I got my seed stuff that pays exceptionally well, and I'm very blessed to have. And that's what really kept me running the way I'm running and being able to do the things I do, because I was blessed enough to be able to secure the stuff with the seed. And here I am 2 years later, literally doing the best that I ever have, with a brand new truck, note on the truck, note on the trailer, and all my other bills, and still paying everything, you know, without even, you know, hurting, and still building my bank account, and still investing in the stock market, and still investing in my retirement, and, you know, doing well for myself, as long as you watch every penny that goes in and out of your bank account. So that kind of gets us to where we are today. You know, I never thought life would end up like this, you know, because the whole plan was to take over my dad's business, or my dad and my mom's business at the time, was to take it over and run it, you know, after they passed it on to me. And it was going to be a, you know, a huge family thing, as it was. And, you know, we're going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And somewhere within all that, my parents fell out, and, you know, now my mom lives out of state, and the business is now just my dad and my brother, because I didn't want to deal with all that, because I'm the only child that's in between both families, because I'm the only child between my mom and my dad. All my brothers and sisters are quote unquote step, but I don't consider them step siblings. You know, when, as we say in our family, we don't have step siblings. Your brother and your sister, and that's all it is. You know, we don't look at each other as step siblings. You know, we're brother and sister, and that's just all it is. So I'm the only one that's in between, that was split. So, you know, everybody kind of took their sides, and I was the only one that was kind of torn in half in the whole situation, and it kind of broke me down mentally and all sorts of other things. But it was a hard time at the time. But like I said, I never thought everything would end up kind of like this, with me being alone, in a sense, doing this all on my own. You know, that was never the plan, was to go get my own authority. You know, I always had, you know, JLR3. It just wasn't, you know, under authority or anything else. It was just for tax reasons, so I could, you know, kind of split up my taxes from my parents' taxes, so it wouldn't cause a big confusion on certain things. So I could keep all my expenses and everything separate from my the family business. So, but like I said, this was never in the plans. It was kind of something that happened very quickly, and, you know, it was never something I ever thought was going to happen. Was, you know, me having my own authority and being, you know, just me. So plans change, life changes. You just got to learn how to adapt and overcome. And, you know, life's never gonna pan out 100% the way you try to plan it all the time. And, you know, certain things about it sucks, because, you know, having that family oriented, we all work together. You know, I was never alone out at the shop like I am now. Every single time I come out here, you know, I always had somebody to help if I needed help with something, or, you know, it was a well-oiled machine. So, but like I said, this is all, everything that happened from then till now, from, you know, the divorce happening to now, was never something I ever thought or ever dreamed about happening, or even thought was gonna happen. So now we are where we are now, and I'm happy. You know, I can't say that I'm sad about, you know, I am sad that, you know, the divorce happened and the business had to split and so on and so forth. But I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. So I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy that I own my own business. I'm happy to be surviving, well, even more than surviving, in the trucking industry as it sits now, and being able to be one of those guys to be able to say that you can still make it in this industry if you do it right. You know, there's a lot of guys that are talking a lot of shit about our industry right now, and most of those guys that talk a lot of shit about the industry are in it for money, and money only, which is not a bad thing. You know, if you want to drive trucks just for the money, you know, kudos to you. But there's a lot of guys out here like myself that this is more than just a job. You know, this is our hobby. This is something we love to do, love to fix on, love to upgrade, you know. And it hurts to see people talk shit about the industry, but, you know, I understand some of the points that they come up with. You know, I understand the industry is really, really fucked up right now, but you know, there's always a bright side to the bad side of everything. And I believe at some point the industry will turn around, and all those people that got out of the industry and talked shit about the industry will be the ones you see right back on the road as soon as everything changes back around, if it ever does. Like nothing ever happened. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. The very, very, very short version of my life story and how I ended up where I am. Like I said, anything's possible if you really put your mind to it and stick to it. Anybody can do what I'm doing now. Like I said, I'm blessed, very blessed to be able to have the things that I have and do the things that I do with the things that I do. And it's kind of I wouldn't say a once in a lifetime story, because like I said, anybody can do what I'm doing now. It's not impossible to have a brand new truck at a young age and, you know, a nice trailer to pull behind it. You know, there's many guys that are doing it, you know, whether it's, you know, a whole family thing, or they're doing it on their own, or whatever you may have it. It's possible to do it. You just have to find out your way to be able to do the things that you want to do, whether that's, you know, trucking or whatever you want to get into. There's ways to do it and do it successfully. Whether you want to go get yourself a brand new truck like I did, or you want to go get yourself something older and fix it up the way you want to do it and go from there. You know, there's different ways to do it, and you should never let anybody talk you out of doing something you want to do. You cannot be afraid to fail. If you are afraid to fail, you're probably gonna fail. But yeah, oil change is done. So now I need to fire the truck up. Well, I gotta let the air dog prime the system. Then we'll fire the truck up, let her warm up, and hook into the trailer, bring the trailer in here. And we'll start on the underglow on the trailer, because I gotta get the brackets made for the watermelon lights. And then after we get done with the trailer, and I need to grease the trailer while it's in here and check tire pressure. Then we'll get into the underglow on the truck, and I need to do the same thing with the truck. I need to grease it and tire pressure, which I'm going to grease it right now while it's in here. And yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of my story. Would I recommend anybody going to get a new truck? No, not really. Not right now. If you're gonna run off the load board and don't have something secured already, I don't recommend it. I mean, I'm not telling you no, go do what you want to do, but just me, I don't recommend it, because it's kind of hard to survive off the load board right now. But if you have secured some type of direct customer or something like that with guaranteed paying money that's paying good, and it factors into your truck payment and everything else, I can't tell you no. But also, one big thing that I did leave out is, another thing I thought about before getting this truck was, do I go get a house or do I go get a truck? That was my big thing before I ordered this truck. It was either going to get a house or going to get a truck. And I looked at it as, I go get a house for 200, 300, 400,000, whatever I happen to find that I want it, and pay the note on it, drive the Volvo. Or I could go get a truck that's going to pay for itself, and then after I get the truck paid off, I can go get a house and have a brand new truck already. So of course I chose the truck over house. I don't own a house, I still rent, and that's a big thing that factors into me having this truck. And what a lot of people don't look at, that say, you know, I'm gonna fail or whatever it is may have you, is I don't own a house, I rent. So that's a big factor of a big amount of money that I don't pay out of my pocket, you know, every month. You know, I'm not paying for a house payment, a mortgage, and all the other good stuff, and a brand new truck. I just have the truck. So before you tell somebody that they're gonna fail at doing something, you need to learn about their life. You can't just tell somebody that they're gonna fail because you're looking at your life and saying that you can't afford it yourself. if you don't know somebody personally, you can't tell them that they're going to fail because you don't know how much money they make. You don't know what's in their pockets. You don't know what they own. You don't know what their monthly expenses are. And just like I said, I have more than just one income of money source. Trucking is not my only money source. Like I said, I do a lot in the stock market. I've made quite a bit of money in the stock market. I have a lot of money set aside in the stock market, in my retirement, and all sorts of other things that have, helped me throughout my journey of trucking whenever I need it. And, I pay a lot of attention when it comes to taxes. And, I legally, found a way to be able to, put away the money, because there's a 100% legal way that a lot of people don't know about, that, when I owe in taxes, I don't have to give the money to the government. I move that money into one of my investment accounts, and the government checks that off as being paid instead of giving them the money, and that money I can borrow from whenever I need it. So instead of paying the taxes to the government, I put it away in my investment account, and it checks off with the government, and then that money sits there and grows and grows and grows, and whenever I need to borrow from it, I can. But I've yet to touch it in a very long time, unless like I'm absolutely need to do something, or like I did with the trailer. I took out some of the money from one of those investment accounts to put a bigger down payment on the trailer. But like I said, there's ways to get around things. There's ways to legally get around things that are 100% legal. It's not like some workaround thing that you may get caught about. Like, no, there's legal ways to do things to keep money in your pocket. There's other ways to have an income source other than just trucking while you're trucking in this industry, to make sure that, if your truck breaks down, you're not scared on how you're going to pay your bills. So, like I said, you gotta educate yourself. If you're not educating yourself and learning, you're just gonna keep yourself in the same spot that you're always have been in, and it's gonna be harder to kind of dig yourself up to that next level. Educate yourself, learn about money, learn about the stock market, learn different ways you can make money, whether that's a side hobby that you may be able to, make a little cash on, or like I said, the stock market like I am, which is a little bit more risky. But if you're young, there's nothing wrong with putting a bunch of money into the stock market and putting into the biggest risk that you can, because you're young, you got time to, make more money. And, who knows, maybe one day you might hit that one stock that'll grow and make it to where you can retire early. But yeah, I can ramble on and on and on about money, but that's not what we're here for. We're gonna get into the underglow now, and yeah, I get in with you guys after I get done greasing the truck and get the trailer in here. All right, y'all, we got the trailer in here now, and all greased up, truck's greased up, trailer's greased up. Now we're gonna go kind of into my underglow plan for the trailer. The reason why I'm doing the trailer first, like I said before, is the trailer's gonna be quicker than the truck, because I'm only doing 2 lights on the trailer, and there's a reason for that, because I'm doing the watermelons like I showed you under the trailer, and since they shine out a pattern so big, which I've already tested them out a couple days ago in here when it was dark, and hooked them up to a battery, they should do what I want them to do. I may have to add a third depending on how it comes out, but I believe 2 will take care of it. So the plan is 1 in between the axles, so it'll light up all this and have the star pattern on the ground. And then the other one is gonna go right in between my turn signals, which is legit half of the trailer, and it should shine out both ways, and then plus the red from the tail lights should cover up any in the front that it misses. So that's the game plan. Like I said, I don't know, I may have to add a third, and what I may have to do is move that one kind of like maybe where this light is, and then put another one up probably right here in the center, right where the tire carrier is, and do it like that. But like I said, for now, that's the plan. And as of for brackets, I I have the aluminum brackets that I used for the hookups for the Cali hookups, which are these right here, these little angle brackets. Well, they're aluminum, and what I'm going to try to do is heat them up and bend them straight, and so they can fit in between the cross members. And I may have to use 2 per, which I got 4 brackets, so it's kind of perfect, because since I already have brackets on the semi-truck from the last Rocklight kit I used, I'm going to just reuse those same brackets, so that should make the Rocklight kit for the truck pretty simple, because I got another kit of these right here. So I got a ton of them, but I'm probably only going to use, 2, 4, 6, probably 10 of them. And I think I got 16 total, so I'll have a few left over. But first things first, we're going to try to get these brackets bent. I'm going to put them in the vise, get a adjustable wrench and my blowtorch out. We're going to try to get these bent straight as I can possibly get them, and see if I need 2 of these brackets to be able to go on the pursuing cross member. I believe 1 will do it, but we'll see, and we'll go from there. All right, it's probably be what is this? Spring of some sort. I'll order springs for it. I don't know. I don't know how long this is going to take, so I'm probably going to time lapse it. I don't know if this is going to work, but guess we shall see. Now I'm just going to pound it on the ground and make it a little bit straighter. And that's pretty much going to be my way I'm going to do this. Either I'm going to do it like that, or I'm going to see if I can just heat them up on the ground and just hit them on the ground and make them straight. I'm going to try that next, but I'll get back to you guys once I get all these flat. All right, y'all, plan of attack has changed. So I forgot I had some metal laying around. So what I'm gonna do, which I'm still gonna make one more of those flat, but that one's still hot. But the gist of it is, this is gonna be in between the cross members. Drill a hole, put 2 little small bolt on each side, and then this is gonna be flat, and I'm gonna tap it to this, and then the light will bolt on to this plate. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kind of try to get this cut down to size, and then I gotta do the same thing with this one, get it cut down to size, and I'll catch up with you guys once I get this cut down to size and probably mount it on the trailer. All right, y'all, we got our light mounted. I still gotta paint the bracket. I don't know how well you guys can see, but we got our bracket made. Like I said, I still gotta paint it, but I'm gonna get it wired up see how it looks. And then we'll take it off, paint it. We'll go from there. But she's up there, right where I want her to be, and it should put off a pretty good pattern. So, all right, y'all. This is what we got. You guys can kind of see what I was going for right there. It's perfect. I believe at night it should shine all the way out to right around there, if not farther. But it's perfect. Got a star right there, right in the middle, and then we'll have a star right here, right in the middle. But I gotta make the brackets and everything for that front one, but the rear one is done. Just need some paint, but she's up there. I'll go to the other side so you guys can see. But there she is. Like I said, I used the black bracket that you seen me make straight, bolted it to a piece of straight bar and bolted it to the cross members, just like that. We got a sturdy mount that's not gonna go anywhere, and then I have little clips. I don't know if you guys can see them, probably not because it's too dark, but I got little clips, let's see, holding the wire down, but holding it up against the cross member. You guys probably can't see, but that's what we're going for. So I'm gonna get the front one done, and then we'll get the truck pulled in here, and we'll start on the truck. I'm not gonna bore you guys with doing the front one, and then at the end of it all, by the time I get done, it'll probably be dark out anyway, since it gets dark at 5 now. So I'll get that done, get the truck pulled in here, we'll get the truck done, and then we'll hook it up and see what we got. All right, y'all. Well, I gotta turn this heater off. It's getting cold, so it's cheaper for me to use my diesel heater than use the one for the shop that's up there. But we got the truck in here now. Trailer's done. I'll show you guys how it turned out once we get the truck done, and you guys to see the full effect, because like I said, it'll be dark by the time I get out of here, because it's already about to be 4 o'clock and it starts to get dark around 4:30 now. So and we got a lot to do. So like I said, I have these mounts here already on the truck from Shift Products, from when I had their rock light kit on the truck. So I'm gonna reuse those same brackets, just take the lights off of them. And I got these lights here. If I can, there we go. I got these ones now. So they're red and only red. Like I said before, I don't like the color ones because you got to use a module somewhere to be able to change the color of the lights on your phone or whatever. So I like just one color rock lights. Comes with a harness, so all I got to do is just wire that up to the truck, which is not going to be hard, because when I ordered this truck from the factory, I ordered it with a switch on the dash that had a wire that already ran to the outside of the truck, which is what I used for when I had the dual revolution lights on this truck, the switch back and forth. That's what I used for that. So I'm going to reuse that same switch, which I use that switch now for the light that's right there, the one that's on the other side, and I use it for the panel that's down there. So all my lights that are going to be underneath the truck will be ran from that one switch. So I don't have to worry about wiring up to a switch. But if you don't have a switch, those are already, operating some sort of lights on your truck, you'll have to run, a wire to a new switch inside the cab, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But if you guys can see, I can see where the camera's pointing. Maybe, let's see if I can get it in here. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that or not. But right there, there's 2 bus bars that I got down here. Which actually, let me grab my phone so you guys can see. I got 2 bus bars down there that I jump power from. So a lot of my ground stuff for the trailer, lift axle and stuff, and all my grounds from lighting all runs to those bus bars that are down there. That red bus bar and black bus bar. Red's positive, and of course black is ground, so I got a lot of grounds running to that. I got like I said, the trailer stuff and everything running to those bus bars. So the red one operates off that switch. The black one is just a ground for that switch, but it's just a general ground, so it works for what I need it to do. So that's what we're gonna wire it to. Like I said, I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to film while doing this, because I'm gonna be underneath the truck, but I'm gonna try to film some of it. At least it's pretty simple. Any of you guys have ever wired lights before, it's not that hard. I'm gonna have to probably extend a few of these things, but what I like about this kit is that the rock lights come with quite a bit of wiring, and then it comes with the harness. So I just gotta hook the harness up to power and ground, and then I just gotta hook all the rock lights up to the little connectors that it has here. So I may have to extend a few of them. I don't know yet. Like I said, if I do have to extend them, it'll probably only be like the back farthest two and the front farthest two, because I think I got about 12 on the truck, because I got one here. Well, I got two back here, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, I got 12 brackets on the truck, so I'm going to use 12 lights, which will cover the whole underneath the truck. And yeah, so now all I got to do is just take the old rock lights off and start from there. But I'll catch up with you guys somewhere. Like I said, this is going to be kind of hard for me to film, just because of the fact of I'm going to be underneath the truck and there's not a lot of light or not a lot of space. So, but I'm going to get started. I got to take all these lights off already. The harness has been off the truck for a long time now, so I don't have to worry about that. So I just got to take all these lights off and then go from there. All right, y'all, we're done. As you can see, the shop's complete disaster, but the truck is outside. I've seen it. Looks pretty good. I think I want to add one more watermelon light to underneath the trailer, but you'll see why I'm saying that when I show you. But it looks good. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to film the whole underneath the truck thing and getting those installed, because that literally took me, I think when I checked in with y'all, it was like 4 something. It is currently 7 o'clock, so it took forever to do. Then if I would have filmed on top of it, I wouldn't even been done yet. But I got 4 more lights left over. I'm gonna end up mounting those on the truck too. I'm just waiting on some more mounts to come for me to be able to mount those on the truck. But for a cheap Amazon kit, it's pretty decent. It does the job. So I'll link those, the rock lights, in the description somewhere. And then the watermelon lights that are underneath the trailer are just Grand General. Oh, these right here. So that's all they are. So, but yeah, I'll link the rock light kit in the in the description somewhere, so you guys can go check it out if you want one. If you're gonna do a whole semi truck, you're gonna need 2 kits, and all the wires were long enough to connect into the harness without me extending any of them. But with that being said, let me show you guys what we got. All right, y'all, I'm sorry for the wind noise. It's windy out here, but as you can see, pretty much everything is covered underneath the truck. I got a black spot right there, which I'm planning on covering, and I want to put some more red right up in here where this light's at. But other than that, we are good on the truck. But I know the truck's not what you guys are really excited about. It's the trailer, because the truck pretty much had this at one point. I used to run it at one point, so the trailer came out pretty good. So has a star pattern on the ground, star burst pattern on the ground. Looks pretty good. Like I said, I think I want to add one more closer to the front to get rid of this dark spot right here. So I think I want to add one more up there, and it'd be 2 stars, be more than bright enough. Maybe even add 2 more. Like I said, add one there and one kind of back here to get rid of this dark spot right here. But back here, that's just amazing, if you ask me. That's just perfect, and it does the job. Yeah, I couldn't ask for anything better for being right here and this not being glass. So it looks amazing. But like I said, I think I want to add 1, maybe 2 more up here in the front. But for right now, I can't complain. I love it. It's perfect for right now. So like I said, 1 more, maybe 2. We'll see. But the truck, it'll get the last 4 lights that I have. And we'll be good to go. But I'm just waiting on the mounts to come. So yeah, she looked good now. Gonna be lighting up the night now, full throughout. More to come. As you guys know, I'm still planning on changing out some more lights, adding some more lights. It's never ending. I already got some ideas for where I'm going to put some more lights besides what I told you guys on the trailer, but I got some more ideas of where I'm going to put some more lights on the truck, where I'm going to change out some lights, and yeah, like I said, never ending, but a little at a time. But this is where I'm going to end it. I hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all that good stuff if you want to communicate. Merch links in the bio. Amazon links are in the bio. Like I said, I'm going to plan on putting the rock light kit down there. If I haven't put it down there when the video goes live, somebody comment and remind me to put the link down there if you don't see it. So, but that'll be down there. Yeah, I'm super excited on the new lights. They came out phenomenal. I'm tired. I still haven't ate yet today, so I need to go eat, clean up the shop, and pull the truck back in here. And I'm gonna call it a night. But thank you guys for always rocking with me like always, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.